In medieval Europe, winter was a predictable emergency that began months earlier in the fields and ended only when spring growth returned. Most families lived close to subsistence, so the margin for error was small. Once the first hard frosts arrived, the landscape stopped producing food, and travel became slower, riskier, and often impossible. A household survival depended on stored grain, preserved meat, dried plants, and whatever roots could be kept from rotting or freezing. Fuel mattered as much as food. Without enough firewood, families could not cook reliably, could not keep a livable indoor temperature, and could not dry clothing after wet work outside. Homes were built to reduce heat loss, but insulation was crude. Gaps in wattle walls, imperfect shutters, and damp floors allowed cold air to seep in continuously. Light was limited, which narrowed work hours and forced more tasks into cramped interiors. Winter did not kill quickly in most cases. It wore people down. Hunger reduced strength, cold slowed the body, and small problems became dangerous because there were few resources to correct them. As winter deepened, medieval daily life became repetitive and physically punishing. Food was stretched into simple meals that could be made from stores, often thin stews designed to use small amounts of grain, fat, and preserved vegetables. Fresh produce disappeared, and vitamin deficiencies became more likely, weakening resistance to disease. Many households brought animals closer to the home or into attached spaces because animals represented both heat and future survival, but this also increased dampness and filth. Smoke from the hearth accumulated inside low rooms, irritating eyes and lungs, while the constant effort of maintaining fire consumed time and fuel. Water could freeze, wells could ice over, and every trip outside cost body heat and risked injury on slick ground. Clothing and bedding were repaired constantly because replacing them was rarely possible. Illness spread more easily in crowded, cold spaces, and treatment relied on warmth, rest, and basic herbal preparations rather than effective cures. The winter season rewarded careful routine, sealing drafts, rationing grain, keeping tools sharp, preserving embers overnight, and ensuring that the smallest necessities did not run out first. By late winter, the crisis sharpened because reserves ran low while cold conditions could persist for weeks. Families faced a narrowing set of choices: reduce portions further, dilute meals more, slaughter animals earlier than planned, or burn fuel meant for later. Each decision protected the present day while increasing future risk. The weakest members of the household were most exposed to the consequences of prolonged deprivation. Children required steady nutrition for growth, older adults had less body reserve, and anyone already ill could decline rapidly when warmth and food were insufficient. Even when people survived, late winter often left them underweight, exhausted, and vulnerable to infection. The end of winter was not a clean turning point. It was a slow transition in which melting snow brought mud, wet clothing, and new hazards, while fields still produced nothing. Survival was measured in practical continuity. Keeping a small stock of grain, maintaining a functional hearth, preserving tools and clothing, and staying healthy enough to work when planting finally began. Medieval winter survival was not a story of comfort or resilience as an ideal. It was a material system of preservation, rationing, shelter, and relentless labor performed under cold, hunger, and limited light.